And later in the bulletin, as universities reopen, parents and guardians face rising costs as accommodation, fees and basic provisions increase pressure on families.
Later in business news, Ghana's economy shows signs of strengthening as provisional growth rises to 3.8% in October 2025 on the back of strong services and improved industrial activity.
On the international front, the head of Uganda's electoral body, Simon Byabakama, says he has received threats warning him against declaring certain presidential candidates the winners of Thursday's elections. And clearly, for those of you who are following the football happening in Morocco, the just ended AFCON game between Senegal and Egypt has got Egypt kicked out. So Senegal are through to the next stage. Details of that and more coming up later in sports as well.
And we begin with something that concerns all of us,
Absolutely.
Transportation. And the sector minister, Joseph Bukari-Nikbe, says government is engaging management of Metromas to service faulty buses to be deployed during peak hours for commuters. He added that there is an option to explore private sector support in addressing the seeming scarcity in public transport vehicles.
It was initial arrangements just to cater for the festive periods, which we did, and it was very helpful. But we realized that when they were withdrawn, it created some challenges. So I re-engaged the MD of Metro Mass Transit Limited and then the Intercity STC coaches, and they have reintroduced some few of them. We are looking at the daily basis movement and seeing if we need to add more, then we'll add more. Again, we are also at the verge of seeing how we can get the private sector to bring in more of the buses and other vehicles to be able to help when it gets to peak hours in the mornings and in the evenings. But we have called back. When we withdrew the services, we saw the tension it created, and we have called back some of the buses to start again making their movements. We are studying the ground to see whether they will need more or we will have to continue with the skeletal or the small number that we have operating for now.
And hundreds join long queues at transport terminals across the capital in real struggle for vehicles after work as the age-long public transport crisis worsens even after the festive season. Let's now cross over to my colleague Christian Yale, who will be joining me from one of the bus terminals across the country for more on this
a chaotic situation here, but I should say that it's even reduced a bit when you look at the numbers. When you come here right about in the afternoon and you look at the numbers here, you could realize that a lot of people have been able to get vehicles to go back home. But really, it is a challenge and a crisis that has been in existence for quite some time now. You would recall that during the festive season, the Transport Ministry or government, as a matter of fact, decided to bring a lot of Metromas buses around to be able to convey people who get locked up in long queues because of non-availability or what you would call scarcity of buses. And so you see queues around, but let me show you here that when you get to the station, there are a lot of queues around, a lot of them going to different places, different destinations across Accra. There are even longer queues when I take you around this area to show you how people would have to be here. And when you ask many of them, they'll have to be here for like 3 or from 2 hours, 30 minutes to 3 hours period before they are able to get vehicles to commute back home, which is really a frustration indeed for many, because over the period they would have to suffer stress at work, and once you are done with work, you have to also go through the same stress yet again before you're able to get home. But let me engage a few of them to get their thoughts really. For how long have you been here trying to get a car to go home?
Oh, about 30 minutes.
About 30 minutes. No, okay. Who fi him for now? Say.
No, I'm a summer.
Oh, I'm a summer. Into fi I'm a summer. How now you Juma?
When I'm at it, but I'm a Juma.
Baube Juma. It's just a queue way. I'm a summer. Okay, and we're have for like 30 minutes now. And win your car. That is interesting. So he works at Amasaman, right? Okay. So he's from Amasaman and he comes around this place to work. So right now it is time for him to return back home. He's in this queue. He tells me that he's been in it for some 30 minutes. But there is another man here that I want to engage. For how long have you been here, and how troubling is it that from day to day you have to suffer this before you get some rest after a hectic day?
Yeah, it is very, very frustrating. Being after working for a hard day work for the day, come here, start here for about sometimes 1 hour, 2 hours before getting car to go home. It's so frustrating.
So it's not like it is just today that you're suffering this, but you go through it almost every day.
Something daily. It's something happening daily. It is happening here daily, every day. You have to go through this kind of stress before going back home. So we'll be very happy if government can provide more cars for the public.
But let me show you something. So usually when the cars arrive like this, a lot of people are in a hurry to get into the bus. Although there is a queue, many would want to engage in what you call crisscrossing or trespassing to be able to get inside. This is the actual frustration that people have to go through on a daily basis before they get back home after a stressful day. And you would understand that most of these vehicles are rickety vehicles in nature, and so if you don't take care and your body or part of your body gets scratched, then that becomes another story altogether. But I want you to understand that indeed when you get here, it is actually a long queue. So even when there are buses around, or once the buses arrive or the vehicles arrive, you'd have to wait for a certain period of time, especially when you happen to be at the very back or at the rear of this queue. But let me engage this gentleman to see how worrying it is that almost every day you go through this struggle before you get to your house.
It's not easy, though. I lost my phone through this mess.
You lost your phone through this mess?
Yes, and I'm just appealing for the government, if it can intervene for us. We'll be very happy for that.
And indeed, for many commuters, the struggle is real, and the Transport Minister says he will address this. So let's keep being hopeful.
Fingers crossed on that. Well, so let's go to one other headline story we have for you this evening. And the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has disclosed that the United States government has assured Ghana it will not stand in the way of efforts to extradite former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and former Maslock Chief Executive Officer Sedinam Tamaklo Ationu to the country. The assurance was conveyed during a high-level engagement between officials from the ministry and the United States delegation led by acting U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Rolf Olson, as part of comprehensive review of Ghana-U.S. bilateral relations. Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa made the disclosure on social media earlier today, which is the 14th of January, following a meeting held at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. According to the minister, the United States government indicated that without prejudice to ongoing judicial processes, it would not obstruct Ghana's efforts to secure the removal of Ken Ofori-Atta and Mrs. Sedinam Tamaklo Ationu from the U.S. to face legal proceedings in Ghana. Meanwhile, the U.S. House of Representatives has voted to extend by 3 years the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA. Let's stay on this subject and get some perspectives to it. Professor Daniel Draman Kipo-Sunye, he is an associate professor at the Legon Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy, LESIAD. Prof, good evening. Thank you for joining us on TV3.
Good evening. Thank you for dear viewers and listeners. Thank you.
How significant is this assurance? Well, we'll talk the Ken Oforiatta bit about the conversation, maybe not today, but the fact that the U.S. has decided to consider reopening the AGWA program, which was suspended by the Trump administration. Now we're told that it is coming back. How significant is this?
Yeah, AGWA is a very great diplomatic engagement. It has been an initiative of the U.S. government since 2000. For sub-Saharan Africa, of which Ghana is one of the key beneficiary countries. And it is a way of opening U.S. market for African goods or Ghanaian goods. For instance, we're talking of Ghana, so that Ghana were able to export our goods with very good terms of trade. Free access to the economy, agricultural goods, our fabrics and chemicals and other things. So that was a big setback to Africa and a big setback to Ghana when this particular novel foreign policy or foreign policy decision of the U.S. was terminated. So coming back certainly is good news for Ghana, and it's something that we have to commend our government for working very hard to be able to have a very good relation with the Trump administration in seeking a reversal of this and to have this particular thing back to us, because it will certainly benefit us, open our economy, be able to produce more and be able to export and be able to have very good terms. You know that Trump's administration has slapped a lot of tariffs on countries, and if Ghana, we have this particular one, then we'll be able to have another aspect of having our things going there without being attracting the tariffs. And that is very good for our economic diplomacy, and that is good news for Ghana.
Right. Should we take this wholeheartedly, or we should take it with a pinch of salt, looking at the uncertainty of President Donald Trump and some of the decisions he takes? The AGWA program didn't have any challenge. Then he canceled it or suspended it out of the blue. Should we wholeheartedly take this on, or we should be cautious in accepting it?
Yeah, since Donald Trump is somebody that by his nature and his foreign policy orientation is quite unpredictable, it can change. So it is also still appropriate, Ghana as a country, we make room for other changes. Anything can happen, like the US aid, which has benefited Africa so much, including Ghana, in terms of our health sector, was terminated under the Trump administration. So this AGWA, well, even though there's good news for us, but we still have to make that we can trade with in the absence of when the opportunity is brought for US. And I think it's always the best. Even if you go to European Union, NATO members who have US as their key ally, because of the unpredictable nature of the president, they are also finding other ways. And in that manner, Ghana, we should continue to maintain good relations with US. It's a big country, the biggest economy in the world. Ghana needs US, but we should be we look for other strategic partners. In the event that the US is not going, we have other countries to switch to. That is the best for our country.
All right, Professor Daniel Draman Kipo-Sunyahi, thank you for your time. He's an associate professor at Lesiad. Well, we're staying on this subject a while longer because the United States government has announced an indefinite freeze on immigration visa processing for a number of countries, about 75 countries, Ghana included. The move is part of a broader effort to tighten immigration controls and prevent applicants deemed likely to become a public charge from entering the country. The move affects a wide range of countries across Africa, Asia, Europe, the Caribbean, and Latin America. The list includes Ghana, Nigeria, Somalia, Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Egypt, Brazil, Russia, and the list goes on and on and on. About 75 in total, and this has become a bit of a concern. Now, according to the U.S. State Department, a memo that has gone around, consular officers have been directed to pause immigrant visa processing for affected countries beginning January 21, while the department conducts a comprehensive reassessment of its screening and vetting procedures.
Let's now turn our attention to education. And as universities across the country reopen, thousands of fresh first-year students are arriving on campus with big dreams and high expectations. But beyond the excitement lies a major concern for many families as the cost of university education. From accommodation to academic user fees and basic provisions, the price of a degree is adding pressure to parents and guardians.
For many freshers, the first days on campus are filled with excitement, new friends, new environment, and new responsibilities. But beneath the smile is a reality many families struggle with: the rising cost of university education. Accommodation remains one of the biggest expenses for first-year students. With limited on-campus space, many freshers are forced to rent private hostels, where prices continue to rise each academic year.
Considering paying 4,000 cedis for fees, and then you are paying over 7,000, 8,000 for accommodation, I think there should be something done about the hostel on campus.
Management of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology says it is engaging hostel operators to ensure that accommodation costs remain reasonable.
We have always been intervening or having a kind of close collaboration with the hostel owners of campus to make sure that the increment will always range between 5 to 10%, and so that it doesn't go up astronomically. And so, depending on your pocket, you are able to get a place to lay your head, and a decent place.
For some of the students entering university for the first time, the journey has been both exciting and overwhelming.
I would say the feeling is okay, but then there's a bit of stress, like the lectures, like we come from class from 8, then we have till 7 p.m. So like you can imagine. I wanted to do dentistry, but then things didn't go as planned, and then I got biological science, and now I can't do it.
My expectation for now is to get first class and get a degree, bachelor degree by science, biological science.
While the no free stress policy has renewed discussions about reducing the burden on students, many families say the real challenge goes beyond tuition to the hidden and indirect cost of university life.
We thank government for this good initiative, but I would also recommend that due to the challenge in even assessing funds during the release of the admission, if government can pay for the fees even before time, because most parents need to rush and then lend money to pay for the fees, which is sometimes stressful.
The university says it has made provisions for first-year students who are struggling financially to complete their registration.
If anybody has any special need, they will have to make contact with the management of the university and know what to do to support them.
As freshers settle into campus life, the question remains whether reforms aimed at easing the financial burden will reflect the true cost of university education. Until then, for many families, the price of chasing a dream remains high. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Kumasi.
The National Council for Curriculum and Assessment has come under heavy criticism and scrutiny after it admitted to problematic definition of gender in a physical education teacher's manual, which has been flagged as pro-LGBT. Despite withdrawing the material, experts have raised fresh questions about oversight. Christabel Success Trevor reports.
On Tuesday, viral social media posts highlighted a physical education teacher's manual that defined gender in a manner many described as offensive and un-Ghanaian. In a statement, the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment, NACA, said the content was intended as teacher guidance and not for student textbooks. Following public uproar and backlash, NACA announced it has revised the manual, but as since South MP John and Tim Forjo is calling for sanctions.
The Director General of NACA and the board chair have no business being there because they are the gatekeepers and they are the ones that Ghanaians are trusting that if for nothing at all, they are the only agency in Ghana institution in Ghana mandated with the technical responsibility to ensure that every content, before it is printed, the final version has to come to NACA. They have to approve it. If there are any changes, they have to make it before they send it for printing, before they stamp it here in NACA. So if they have gone ahead to stamp it NACA, sent it to printing, and they have printed, and they come back to tell us, yes, it was LGBT elements, that is not good enough.
Beyond the controversy, questions remain about institutional oversight. Experts maintain the issue should not be politicized, attributing it instead to lapses in quality assurance at NACA.
There was a failure at the point of quality assurance from NACA, because even if these contents were pushed in by the writers or by a reviewer, NACA had the last mandate to ensure that the document that is going to be put in the public domain, the document that is going to be used to teach, reflects the aspiration, belief systems, values of the Ghanaian people. And that they failed to do. Somebody within the process of supervising the development and publishing of this document should be held responsible. If we start holding people responsible and not doing this MPP NDC thing.
In more news tonight, months after the death of two cabinet ministers, that the Defense and Environment Ministries continue to operate under acting leadership, the situation has raised growing concerns among political observers and civil society groups about the urgency of appointing substantive ministers to steer the country through mounting security and environmental challenges. There's more in this report by Noble Cosby-Annan.
Since August 2025, the Defense and Environment Ministries have been under the stewardship of acting ministers following the tragic deaths of their previous office holders. Finance Minister Dr. Tofor Singh has been acting as Defense Minister, while the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofibua, is overseeing the Environment Ministry. President John Dramani Mahama, he made this announcement ahead of the Christmas and New Year festivities.
Can see people speculating he's going to appoint a new defense minister, a new environment minister. We're not in a hurry. I'll do those appointments next year after the holiday, the Christmas and the New Year.
Although the two ministries appear to be running smoothly, political observers and civil society actors, they argue that a dedicated leadership is still crucial for tackling pressing national challenges. For the Defense Ministry, credibility, experience and trust within the Ghana Armed Forces, they're seen as non-negotiable. But given the region's security dynamics, the need for a substantive minister is also non-negotiable.
Where we face emerging threats such as violent extremism, terrorism, and all of that. So it is very essential that we have a substantive minister. It should be as soon as possible. You don't wait till certain things will happen to you before you now apply the fire brigade approach.
So one, somebody who understands the environment they are getting involved in. Somebody who can provide security leadership. Somebody who has the temperament of a leader within the military environment.
For Richard Kumado, if a deputy minister cannot effectively perform the duties of a substantive minister when the need arises, then the importance of the role itself must be questioned.
The broader question we need to be asking is, what is the role of deputy ministers in our policies? If the deputy minister cannot act in the place of the substantial minister.
Meanwhile, the Environment Ministry faces the Herculean task of spearheading the fight against illegal mining, a key promise the ruling NDC made during the 2024 elections. Environmental advocates insist that the incoming Environment Minister must have both a clear policy vision and the authority to enforce compliance to ensure tangible results on the ground.
What we actually want is a strong person who is actually interested in protecting the environment. When it comes to irresponsible mining, there's a great deal of pressure. So I'm more interested in a strong character whose dedication is to Ghana.
As we speak, lobbying for both appointments is underway within the party. Political insiders suggest a number of potential candidates. They are already under consideration. For defense, names such as Deputy Defense Minister Ernest Brojajemfi, former Deputy Interior Minister James Agalga, and Member of Parliament for Kwale Klote constituency, who is also the chairperson of Parliament's Security and Intelligence Committee, Senator Ajman Rawlings. These names have surfaced in discussions, but you should not be surprised if none of these are considered. What matters is the ability to do the job. Ghanaians are waiting to see the persons President Mahama will name for these two portfolios, which are expected to shape Ghana's defense posture and environmental strategy for years to come. Noble Crosbyan, TV3 News, Accra.
Let's go to the courts now. The Accra High Court has granted the operations manager of Akonta Mining, Kwejo Owusu Bempa, a 10 million Ghana cedi bail with 3 sureties, one to be justified. Owusu Bempa, together with the NPP's Ashanti Regional Chairman, Bernard Ntwibo Isiako, are among 5 accused persons charged with multiple illegal mining offences in the Tano Nimrim Forest Reserve. Lord Edwasari was in court and reports.
Kwejo Owusu Bempa, who had previously been on the run, was arrested on Monday, January 12, and arraigned before the court on January 14. During proceedings on Wednesday, January 14, he pleaded not guilty to charges of undertaking mining without a license, abetting the unauthorized felling of trees, and abetting the unauthorized erection of structures in the Tano Nimiri Forest in the Western region. His lawyers, led by Andrew Voshia, prayed for his client to be granted bail after noting that he had a fixed place of abode and willingly turned himself into the police. Prosecution told the court that they would amend the charge sheet and remove the 4th accused, who had become a state witness, from the sheet. Prosecution also did not oppose the prayer for bail, but added that it should be binding enough to compel him to turn up to court when called upon. Presiding Judge Ruby Aite then granted Owusu Bempa a bail of 10 million Ghana cedis with 3 sureties, one to be justified. The court also ordered him to deposit his travel documents with the registry. Reacting to the development after court proceedings, lead counsel for the 5th accused person maintained that his client wasn't aware he was wanted by the police.
It was a friend of his who saw the charge sheet on the social media as the 5th accused person at large. So quickly he got in touch with me. That's why I was available. He came to Accra and I took him to the police headquarters. He was interrogated, his statement taken, he was cautioned on 3 counts, and the police admitted him to bail. So he left and we reported, I think, the next day. So after reporting, they gave him another time to report, but he fell sick, and at all that moment he was at the hospital. So having recovered with a medical report, we reported on Monday, on the 12th, to the police. Then they said because he had breached the previous reporting, they are taking it to court today.
The case has since been adjourned to February 17 for case management conference. Lord Idwasari, TV3 News, Accra.
In more news tonight, Volta Regional Minister James Gunu has emphasized the need for health workers to guard against medical negligence in healthcare facilities across the country. Speaking at an end-of-year dinner and award ceremony of Emmanuel Med Hospital in Ho, the minister commended staff of the hospital for upholding high standards of patient care over the years, but urged them to guard themselves against medical errors that could jeopardize patient safety.
Established in 2019, Emmanuel Med Hospital has become a reliable destination for patients seeking medical care. Over the years, the hospital has seen significant growth, providing a wide range of healthcare services, including obstetrics and gynecological services, general surgery, and laboratory services, among others. Speaking at the annual dinner and award ceremony, the hospital's administrator, Salom Nani, revealed that management is undertaking new infrastructure projects to expand capacity and improve service delivery.
One of the highlights of this reporting period is the acquisition of a new ambulance for Emmanuel Medical Hospital. This milestone achievement has significantly strengthened our emergency response and referral system. Another major milestone worth celebrating is the initiation of a new hospital infrastructure project. These projects represent our long-term vision to expand capacity, improve service delivery, and align with modern healthcare standards. When completed, the new facility is expected to expand clinical and diagnostic services, improve patient comfort and safety, enhance staff working conditions, and position the hospital as a key healthcare provider.
Volta Regional Minister James Gunu, who graced the ceremony, commended management and staff for their dedication to providing quality health care while urging them to guard against medical negligence.
Let's see this work as a calling, because it's one of the things that we don't have to joke with. Human life. People who handle life of human beings need to be dedicated, need to have the passion for the work. And I've seen it over here.
In all, 50 members of staff and management received various awards and honors. The biggest award of the night was a 20,000 cash prize, in addition to several assorted items won by Jennifer Badegbe, who was adjudged the overall best staff of the year.
This is still News 360 on TV3 Business, Sports and Entertainment Hour. Coming up, stay with us.
I love President Charcoal.
Here on News 360, I am Michael Obodu. Now, Ghana's economy showed signs of steady recovery in October 2025, with the services sector once again emerging as the main driver of growth, supported by a strong rebound in industrial activity. However, the agricultural sector recorded a significant slowdown, continuing to trail behind other sectors of the economy, according to the latest monthly Index of Economic Growth released by the government statistician.
The latest data from the Ghana Statistical Service indicates that the services sector remained the backbone of economic growth in October, expanding by 5.5%, only slightly below the 5.5% recorded in the same period last year. According to government statistician Dr. Alhassan Idrisu, despite the marginal slowdown, services accounted for a dominant 74.7% of total economic growth, driven largely by strong performance in communication, wholesale and retail trade activities.
The year-on-year growth rate from the MEG index is 3.8% in October 2025 compared to 3.0% in October 2024. In plain language, this means the economy produced 3.8% more output in October 2025 than in October 2024.
The industry sector also recorded a notable turnaround, posting 3% growth, a sharp improvement from 0.4% in October 2024. This stronger performance reflects a broader expansion in industrial activity and contributed 28.7% to the overall growth rate for the month. In contrast, agriculture growth slowed significantly to 0.9%, down from 2.1% in a year earlier, contributing just 1.3% to total economic growth.
This reflects continued, though modest, expansion in agricultural activity. The trend is largely driven by fish production, which plays a significant role in monthly agricultural output. It is important to remember that agriculture is highly seasonal, especially towards the end of the year. Agriculture's trajectory from October 2023 to October 2025 shows that the sector rises from an index of 103.5 to 106.6.
Overall, the October 2025 MEG figures point to a cautiously improving economy anchored by resilient services activity and rising industrial output, even as challenges within the agriculture sector persist.
Ecobank Ghana has rewarded some customers in the second draw of its 5-star enjoyment promotion to appreciate them for their loyalty. The draw was held at the Kaswa Old Market, where winners were selected and rewarded under the supervision of regulators.
The Ecobank 5-star enjoyment promo is a customer appreciation and rewards initiative launched by Ecobank Ghana. It seeks to appreciate both new and existing clients for their loyalty and active banking behavior. The promotion targeted customers who made deposits in multiples of 400 Ghana cedis or took loans in multiples of 4,000 Ghana cedis. Yake Suayano is the head of direct banking.
We are looking forward to all those who do not have accounts, who have been yearning to be Ecobank customers, or who have the need to do business with Ecobank. You will deposit with us, you will take loans with us, and we give you the convenient way of transacting on our mobile app where you don't need to run around looking for Ecobank branch.
She cautioned customers to watch out for fraudsters.
We are telling all our customers, we have all the information about you. So Ecobank will not call you for an ID card before we make the payment. We will credit your account and call you. If you have to come for your voucher, we will call you and show you where to take it. So please, do not respond to any call, do not respond to any WhatsApp message saying that you have to submit a document.
Marketing and Caritas Officer at the National Lottery Authority, Bright Ofori, said Ecobank's draw is regulated and entreated the public to participate.
You were here, you can tell how fair. Was anybody who won? I have no hand in it. Ecobank people had no hand in it. The people who won, they are sparsely, located.
Prizes for the draw winners included up to 10,000 Ghana cedis cash reward, shopping and gift vouchers, fuel coupons, airtime, and insurance cover.
And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. We'll bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market.
Sasso insecticide spray and coil.
Let's do some sports now, and we head straight to Morocco, where Senegal have booked their place in the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations final after beating Egypt by a 1-0, courtesy Sadio Mane. Morocco will also square off against Nigeria in a few minutes. 3 Sports' Bill Eshen is in Rabat, where he has been providing some perspectives and updates on what to expect.
So Sadio Mane versus Mohamed Salah, part 3. And it's gone Sadio Mane's way as Senegal have booked a place in the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations final. And surprise, surprise, it was Sadio Mane who got the crucial goal for Senegal as they defeated Egypt by 1-0, a strike from outside the box in the second half for the Al Nassr player. This means that Senegal would be waiting for the winner between Morocco and Nigeria in the final, and they have now entered the final for the second time since they first did it in 2021 and the second time now in 2025. Now, of course, in a few minutes, Nigeria will be facing Morocco in the other semi-final, but I asked a few people what they think about Senegal making the final of the 2025 AFCON, and this is what they said.
Obviously, Sadio Mane is not as good as he once was before, but he's still one of the best players on the continent. They have a younger team and a mix of experienced players. Some of those players won the AFCON a couple of years ago. Senegal has been to the World Cup. They qualified for this World Cup. They qualified for the previous World Cups, and they are one of Africa's top challengers.
Listen, it was a fantastic game, and Senegal ends up winning this game 1-0. It's really, really good because at the beginning of this AFCON, the team that I penned down to win it all was Senegal because they have a mix of experience with the likes of Sané, and they have young players like Ibrahim Mbaye, who plays at PSG, who have gelled together and played well. And even when they didn't play well, they found ways of winning.
It's a crazy one. It's a crazy one. I never expected it. But they've made it to the finals, and it's actually a very nice one too.
It is to be expected. Before the tournament, they were probably the favorites in my opinion. And now that I'm Nigerian, so I'm looking forward to a Senegal-Nigeria final. But the semi-final was tougher than I expected it to be. I thought Senegal were going to blow Egypt out of the water, but a narrow win is still a win. Is a win at the end of the day. I don't know how they will fare in the final without Koulibaly, who misses the final, but we'll see how that goes.
Also, as I mentioned earlier, of course, Morocco hosts will be taking on Nigeria in a few minutes at the Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium right behind me. You can see the pitch is green, it's lush, and it's ready for the two teams to come onto the field. I did ask a few fans what they think ahead of this game, who they think will win out of these two teams, and this is what they also said.
I expect good football, very good football. I know Nigeria is going to win. Nigeria has quality players. Both teams has quality players, but Nigeria has better.
Very good game. We're in the semi-final. Two big teams. The best gonna win, but the best is Morocco, inshallah.
So definitely a Nigerian win. 3 goals by Osimhen, hat-trick. Hakimi 2 goals. 3-2 to Nigeria.
Yeah, I'm kind of hopeful. We're going to win. The energy is high, so definitely we are winning. 2-0. Yeah.
Of course, part of the spotlight will be Ghanaian referee Daniel Nilaye, who would be the central referee for this particular game, and a lot of eyes will be on him to deliver fair and firm officiating for that game between, of course, Morocco and also Nigeria in the 2025 AFCON semi-finals. In a few minutes, the game will start, and we'll see who will book a place to face Senegal in that particular final, which will also be happening here in Rabat. Bill Eshen for 3 Sports from the Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium here in Rabat, Morocco.
Very interesting game. It's just about 6 minutes from now. That game will be kicking off between Nigeria and host nation Morocco. Fingers crossed. That's it for sports. Time now for entertainment.
Entertainment News segment is brought to you by GTP Lifestyle
and Napa Foods. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Powered by 3 Entertainment.
Well, good evening and welcome to the Entertainment News segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, language remains a powerful tool in music. While some artists adopt dominant languages for wider recognition, others choose to preserve their roots by performing in their mother tongue. Ghanaian rapper Agbeshi has opened up about his motivation for rapping in Ewe, the impact of his music, and whether he has ever felt pressure to switch languages or styles for mainstream success.
The Ghanaian music scene has produced many talents over the years. However, in the quest for wider appeal and commercial success, some artists have avoided making music in their mother tongues, choosing instead to record in more dominant languages. For example, music icon Samini, who has roots in the Upper West region and speaks Togari, started his career largely recording in Twi. Similarly, Okonfo Kwade-born Jerry Anaba and hailing from the Upper East region rose to fame, delivering most of his lyrics in Twi. Despite this trend, other artists have remained committed to their indigenous languages from the start. Legendary rapper Tiny is credited with popularizing Ga rap, while Ghanaian rapper and lyricist Edem is recognized as a pioneer who brought Ewe rap into the national spotlight. Today, a new generation of artists is continuing this tradition, using music to project their culture and identity. One of them is rapper Agbeshi, known for his sharp, culturally rooted bars in Ewe.
I just found out that, like, look, this is who you are, this is you, and you need to accept you.
He is part of a growing wave of artists who blend indigenous languages, traditional rhythms, and storytelling with modern hip-hop.
Rapping in Ewe, I realized I could represent that space properly because the space of Ewe rappers hasn't been that much compared to the other languages. Collectively, it's the music. Music itself doesn't have any language barrier. Once the vibe is good, people can resonate to whatever you are singing.
And she says, rapping in Ewe is more than a creative choice. It's a way of expressing culture while reaching audiences beyond language barriers. He says, seeing his music helps spotlight Ewe rap gives him fulfillment.
Fulfilled. When I was coming up, I had few people. Anytime I come and say, hey, I've been in Abano. It's important to me because I have seen the light of Chicago, Edem, Agbeko, then come myself, making sure that we represent. People take representation for granted, but if you take your representation for granted, you can never have anything to present at the end of the day. Representation is one of the things that I think was important to me to have to rap in Ewe.
Has he ever felt pressure to switch languages?
I have not. I've never even thought of anything is pressuring me. You know. Once the message comes, how it comes is what I do. If my message comes in Ewe, I sing in Ewe.
Agbeshi is calling for stronger industry support to encourage artists to proudly promote indigenous languages, culture.
That's it for the Entertainment News segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko.
It's now time for international news, and the head of Uganda's electoral body says he has received threats warning him against declaring certain presidential candidates the winners of Thursday's election.
Thank you for watching News 360. My name is Martin Esiedudati.
And I am Portia Gabodu. Join Alfredo Kansa at 10 p.m. for Ghana tonight. Good evening.
The luxury and luxury paint. No be any painting be paint.
The luxury acrylic paint.
When you are going to buy a paint, don't look left, don't look right. Go straight and grab the luxury and luxury paint.